The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
Coming up on today's episode of Locked On Canucks, we're going to tell you why the Vancouver Canucks should be Pat McAfee's second favorite team, or maybe even his favorite team. Who's Pat McAfee? Why is he into hockey? You're going to hear all about that here on Locked On Canucks.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, what's going on? Welcome to another episode of Locked On Canucks. My name is Trevor Beggs, co-host here of Locked On Canucks, and also a part-time credentialed media member for Daily Hive Vancouver. Before we dive into the episode, we got to thank you for tuning in to Locked On Canucks. It's your team, no scratch that, your Canucks every day. Go make sure you subscribe or follow for free on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. I also got to let you know that today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 money line bet. That's 150 buckaroonies if your team wins. Go visit fanduel.com/lockedon today to get started. Now, to lead off the show, we got to talk about hockey becoming cool and why the Canucks should be Pat McAfee's team. Also going to talk about how one measly little AHL defenseman saved the Canucks season. But before we get to that, let me introduce my co-host, Kyle. I saved his love for hockey, apparently. How you doing, brother?
You did, man. You did, and I'm back. I'm not sleeping on the game anymore, okay? Kyle Bowen, Trevor Beggs, another episode of Locked On Canucks, the show that gives you your Canucks every day. We'll get to a comment, a really cool comment about being cocky, okay? The Canuck fans, they're cocky right now, and rightfully so, apparently, and accordingly to this fan. Again, we'll get to that comment at the end of the show. But we got to talk about this, okay? We got to talk about the game growing, right? Once in a while, Trevor Beggs and Kyle Bowen, we like to do that because we love this game. Again, my bed sheets growing up, the coolest game on earth. That was the logo. That was the slogan. That was the motto. Your
bed sheets?
Yeah, it said the coolest game on earth.
Okay.
And remember I told you too, like I keep them in the closet just in case. You know, it's Valentine's Day. I put them back on, okay? And tell my girl, yo, it's about to get cool, baby. Anyways, Pat McAfee doing a lot for the game right now. I feel as if when he talks about hockey and then posts a video on YouTube, there's no other hockey video out there that gets that many plays. Like we're talking in the six figures, you know? It's Pat McAfee, the biggest sports figure in North America right now. And I do believe that there is a chance that the Pittsburgh native, right, could possibly really enjoy watching the Vancouver Canucks. Why? Well, a lot of reasons, okay? First off, the main reason, we may be good. The Vancouver Canucks may be good this season. And they may be good and led by some star players. Now, I don't know if you have that quote ahead of you, Beggsy, Andrew Burnett, who's played the Canucks twice already this season. He said something that really got me thinking because he's a smart hockey guy. He's played a lot of games in the NHL. He's been actually a pretty good coach, too, in his short tenure as a coach throughout the league. What did he say about the Vancouver Canucks?
Yeah, Andrew Burnett, he was pumping the Canucks tires recently. So, after Nashville dropped their second game to the Canucks on Tuesday, Burnett said to reporters, quote, "They have gotten complete buy-in from their group and especially their higher skilled players. They have been the best team we have seen this year in pressuring both sides of the puck, taking time and space away." That's just not something you've heard about these Vancouver Canucks at all for a long time. Be one of the best teams at pressuring on both sides of the puck. I mean, look at the Canucks last season. It's really night and day right now. The Canucks were really the most permissive team in the league last season by a lot of different metrics. And it's not perfect right now, and we'll kind of get to that later on in the show. But the fact of the matter is, like Burnett said, there's buy-in, and especially from the players high up in the lineup. And, it's interesting, right? This is the year that Pat McAfee, pretty much like you said, Kyle, one of the biggest sports media figures out there, really driving so many viewers to his channel. And now this is the year he gets into hockey, and lo and behold, it's not Connor McDavid, it's not the Edmonton Oilers, it's the Vancouver Canucks who are making some noise early on. And I could see JT Miller being like Pat McAfee's favorite player.
There you
JT
go.
Miller, he's a big old POS. Could have a 100-point season here, which is nothing to sneeze at. And the guys basically grew up right near the Pittsburgh Penguins arena. And Pat McAfee's a Pittsburgh guy. So I think there's a lot of good tie-ins for why Pat McAfee should cheer for the Vancouver Canucks. Oh, did I mention, by the way, we talked about it a couple weeks ago, but the Vancouver Canucks are basically America's team in terms of impact American players on this team.
Dude, you're reading my mind.
Pat McAfee, he shouldn't listen to a guy wearing a suit jacket because this guy's in the tank top all the time. But hey, I'm just doing this to try to feed my family, okay?
Oh.
Kyle Bowen, Flex Bowen over there is, he's got the cool bed sheets. I mean, come on, man. There's a lot of reasons why Pat McAfee should pick the Vancouver Canucks as his team. I want to see a segment called Canucks Are Awesome instead of Hockey is Awesome on the Pat McAfee show.
Okay, you read my mind. Okay, Vancouver again. They're playing good hockey. You have to be good to be notable, okay? And hopefully we're good for the rest of the season and more eyes are on us and one of those sets of eyes, or I guess a lot of those sets of eyes, because there's a lot of people on that show come from the Pat McAfee show. And then again, you read my mind. JT Miller, POS. Tough, gritty, puts up a lot of points, can create highlight reel plays, and he's from Pittsburgh. He's also not the only American, like you said, on the team. Vancouver is America's team, kind of, sort of. Not really, but you get it. There's that connection as well. All those things being said, I think the number one kicker, okay? Because at the end of the day, maybe it's going to be harder to get the masses to fall in love with the game, but at the end of the day, we all love cool things, right? Like, for example, right? I don't have to be a baseball fan to want a New York Yankees jersey, right? It's just the truth. It's one of those jerseys. It's cool, blah, blah, blah. I think the Vancouver Canucks, and they're going to wear this jersey 15 times, not 6 times, not 7 times. It's not a specialty jersey. It's not one of those jerseys. You got what I'm saying? It's not on rare occasion that the Vancouver Canucks are going to be rocking the nicest jersey in the NHL, and that's what the Canucks have right now. They have it. I know you're not on that wagon, but there is something so cool about this black skate jersey, something so mean about it, and I think it can transcend throughout all sports fans. Maybe, again, not to create hockey fans, but I could see a lot of people, and Pat McAfee may be one of those people who could look at that jersey and be like, yo, I want that. I want that. Now, it's easier to want that, again, if the team is shown on more highlights, maybe on the Pat McAfee show, a.k.a. continues to find success and win games. And I don't know, I just think there's a recipe there for the Vancouver Canucks to be one of the coolest teams in the NHL.
Well, you know what? They've gotten off to a great start in that department, right? And, I think we talked about it on yesterday's episode, right? The whole Quinn Hughes, Jack Hughes scenario. I think that could bring more attention to the Canucks in itself.
Yeah.
Like, what Jack Hughes and Quinn Hughes are doing could be historic, right? You could have one brother winning the Hart and the Art Ross, could have the other winning the Norris. That's never happened
The story.
in NHL history. So you talk about the Canucks being cool, and I think Captain Quinn could help lead the charge, especially if his brother Jack keeps doing what he's doing over in New Jersey.
And Pettersson. Pettersson. There you go.
This guy's, he's the alien, man. He's the alien. Come on, man. Let's go. You got a goalie from California. The Canucks, again, haven't been cool in a long time. There's a lot of things here for a good recipe. I can see Pat McAfee wearing one of those black skate tank tops. I kind of wanted one for myself. Then I'm like, I'm not paying $100 for a tank top from whatever site it's from. But
no, he's
not.
not.
Also see Pat McAfee rocking a Hope is Dope shirt because, obviously got to be a tank top, but hope is dope. And right now there's a lot of hope in Vancouver, and that's pretty dope.
I know you've probably only seen screenshots of Pat McAfee talking hockey, but those are not, because if you guys don't know, Trevor Beggs has only watched maybe like 5 episodes of Pat McAfee show. Again, this guy's working, full-time working. Pat McAfee, I think he debuts his show sometime around lunchtime, and Trevor Beggs never uses his phone. He's never on YouTube binging hours of anything. So it makes sense how you haven't really connected your time with Pat McAfee and his sports show. This all being said, it's not a tank top. This guy cuts the sleeves off his Pittsburgh Penguins jersey. Like, he buys a jersey and he cuts the sleeves off of it. There it is, man. And Gary Bettman actually was on the show, I think, yesterday, and he kind of liked it. This all being said, there's something so spooky about Gary Bettman. I got to say it, man. I feel as if 45% of the things that he says are not like blatant lies, but I just can't believe them.
Yeah, honestly, I was trick-or-treating with my daughter, and there was a gargoyle statue, and I honestly thought it was Gary Bettman for a second. True story.
Oh, man.
It's unbelievable, man. But anyways, I hope Pat McAfee doesn't talk to Gary Bettman too much because it might sour him on the Vancouver Canucks because, the Canucks are definitely one of Bettman's least favorite teams,
Get JT Miller on the program. JT Miller on the Pat McAfee show, because it's going to happen again. That show is doing a lot for the game right now. So many eyeballs watch that show, and every week they're going to spotlight the game. I just think that interview between those two Pittsburgh natives and two guys who like it hard, they like it hard. Everyone likes it hard, baby, right? They like it hard, and I feel as if they would have a very engaging conversation about the game because JT Miller, he has the potential to be such a incredible all-around player. I'm not just talking about his defensive abilities coinciding with potentially having like 90 points, 95 points, 100 points. It's like this guy's a POS. Again, he goes hard in the paint. There's a couple fights left in him this season. You get what I'm saying? He just that old school / new school type of hockey player, and there's not a lot of players out there like him. Let's have those two connect. Two Pittsburgh natives talking NHL on the Pat McAfee show. It could happen, and yeah, that's our little ramble to start off this show. I know it's game day. We're going to talk about it in a couple minutes. We're also going to talk about this defenseman who came from Pittsburgh, the Pittsburgh Penguins. We should add that too. The Vancouver Canucks are like Pittsburgh's second team. We have like 8 guys from that team on this roster. We're going to talk about one of those defensemen in a couple of minutes. But Beggsy, who you shouting out?
All right. Well, guess what? It's a new NHL season. Pat McAfee's letting you know. And the new NHL season brings all sort of possibilities. You know, Elias Pettersson could score 50 goals. Hey, definitely could happen. The Canucks could hoist the Stanley Cup, and you could win big by playing daily fantasy hockey on Sleeper, the official daily fantasy app of the Locked On NHL network. Sleeper is our #1 choice for daily fantasy sports, and especially daily fantasy hockey. Because with Sleeper, you could win 100 times your cash in daily fantasy hockey contests. All right, so coming up today against the San Jose Sharks, you know, you could look at it as a trap game for the Vancouver Canucks, play the winless Sharks, but I would bang on the Canucks stars showing up tonight. You know, Pettersson, Miller, Besser hasn't scored in a couple of games now. I would smash the over on a couple stats on Sleeper. You know, you could bet on goals, assists, points, plus, minus, saves if you're into betting on the goalie, and much more in a given game. So to win 100 times bet on Sleeper, you need to correctly predict the outcome of 8 player stats. You heard me, Canucks fans. You could win 100 times your money playing daily fantasy hockey with Sleeper. So start paying attention and nail your picks so you can start winning big. Use promo code LOCKEDONNHL and you'll get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. That's code LOCKEDONNHL. See Sleeper's terms of use for details and locational availability.
Okay, you're back on another episode of Locked On Canucks. My name's Kyle Bowen. More importantly, that over there is Trevor Beggs. But more importantly than that, this is the show where we give you your Canucks every day. We also give you that West Coast bias, okay? Nothing else matters other than the Vancouver Canucks within these 30 minutes. And man, oh man, I'm still feeding off of whatever Andrew Brunette said because even though it's a short sample size, again, 9 games being played, twice against Nashville, he's seen us quite a bit. Maybe he's just pumping our tires delusionally. A bit of it does make sense, which is alarming because take us back 3 weeks, Trevor. I was the one saying this almost every single day. The Canucks are only going to win games because they're going to get great goaltending, and then guys like JT Miller and Pettersson are going to score some goals, and Quinn Hughes. And it's kind of been that, but it's also been whatever Brunette was talking about.
Yeah, and like you said, Brunette did mention, you know, it's the top of the lineup players for the Canucks who have really bought in, but there's been contributions throughout the lineup, and you know, look at the forward depth. Some of that hasn't been so much scoring, but they're at least, you know, not getting creamed possession wise, especially over the last few games. But one of the big differences for this Canucks team right now has been the addition of Freeman. Okay, Mark Freeman. Who would have thought this guy coming up from the AHL? Joins the Vancouver Canucks, and then boom, all of a sudden he's in a top 4 role. Now, this can't be a long-term solution for the Vancouver Canucks, but I will say Mark Freeman playing a simple game. He's got some energy to his game, this guy. I noticed that during the Canucks game on Friday and Saturday, this guy was like jumping up and down on the bench during the anthem, like just trying to get amped up, man. Mm-hmm. Maybe not sure, so not during the anthem, but during pregame there, where most of the guys are just kind of standing around. But he's got some energy, buddy. And he's looked good in a top 4 role. And I think, you know, the reason why I would say he saved the Canucks right now is think of it this way, okay? Like Mark Freeman and Ian Cole have now formed the second pairing for your Vancouver Canucks. They've played 6 games together. Sorry, Mark Freeman's played 6 games with the Canucks. They've really been together for the last 5 games. In that time, what's happened? The Canucks have started to allow far fewer chances against, far fewer goals against. Is this Mark Friedman saving the Canucks? It might just be, Kyle.
It might be the former Pittsburgh Penguins saving the Vancouver Canucks, you know?
Doing it for Pat McAfee.
Rutherford, Alvin, Tocchet. Tocchet should be on the Pat McAfee show, okay? Straight up. And then you got Ian Cole and Mark Friedman, who, again, ex-Pittsburgh Penguins. I doubt they played a lot together, but they're playing solid. This being said, I kind of am seeing some cracks in Cole's game because I feel as if that's going to happen when you're using him as your number 3 D-man for a large stretch of time, and I hope that can cool down. Maybe a game against San Jose and AHL team can help him, gain some momentum heading into a big game against Dallas. This all being said, Friedman is again that Aaron Rome type of guy. Is he somebody that I want in the Vancouver Canucks top 4 for the rest of the season? No, especially if we want to be that good team and kind of, live up to it throughout the season. But his ability just to be super simple with it is exactly what this team needed, because I'm not going to say he's been an example for Tyler Myers, but we just needed less of what Myers was bringing, and that's trying to do too much. And Friedman is the complete opposite. And he's also got a little bit of edge and pizzazz to him, because you're talking about the energy that he brings on the bench. I think Alvin alluded to how bringing him in would bode well for adding some personality to the team. And then we also saw him drop the gloves within the first 5 minutes of his debut with the Vancouver Canucks. So there's been a lot to like. I'm not going to go ahead and say that, again, he's going to be this guy forever, but it's so interesting how you and I are both agreeing that this team needed like an Aaron Rome type of guy, like an A to B type of guy, a super simple player to balance out what was looking like a very chaotic / decor, especially in the bottom part of it, that was trying to do too much.
Well, you mentioned the word chaotic, and I'll tell you right now why Mark Friedman saved the Vancouver Canucks. He pushed Tyler Myers down to the 3rd pairing, and that's what we wanted to see, right? Like, obviously the Canucks aren't moving Myers despite, some talk, some rumblings over the summer, but Tyler Myers is now on the 3rd pairing. Thank the hockey gods, because that's where he belongs. And I don't want to say he's looked great, but he's looked better for sure. The underlying numbers for Soucy and Myers in that 3rd pairing, I will say, are pretty ugly. So with Soucy and Myers together, they're controlling 42% of shot attempts. They're controlling 31% of expected goals, 34% of scoring chances. Basically, they're, and against lesser competition, I might add, they are losing the possession battle big time. But that being said, Soucy's got a couple goals. Myers got a couple goals. They're contributing in ways that we wouldn't have expected. So that's kind of masking it, mitigating it. But again, it's better to have your bottom pairing be a problem than your second pairing be a problem, right? So again, and Mark Friedman has allowed that to happen. Again, kind of fitting in seamlessly with Ian Cole so far. Those guys have driven possession and made a positive difference for the Canucks when they've been on the ice together. Their expected goals is at 57%. With those two on the ice, the Canucks have outscored the opposition 3-0. And controlling over 54% of shot attempts as well. So been a pretty promising couple games for Mark Friedman and Ian Cole.
Yeah, and I was not expecting that at all when we made the trade for him, 3 weeks ago for Jack Rathbone, and it's exactly what we needed. And I'm more than curious. Okay, we heard the reports earlier this week from Rick Dhaliwal and company that the Vancouver Canucks and their management may be in line with trying to quote unquote reward this team. And I think that kind of alludes to them potentially grabbing another defenseman, or maybe, maybe we're just overblowing it and that reward's actually going to be Ethan Bear. But I don't expect this decor to look exactly how it is right now. But man, oh man, if they bring in somebody else, it's going to kind of be hard to take Friedman out of the lineup.
Yeah, well, honestly, the conversation might become is it going to be Friedman or Myers who gets in, right? Because right now, Friedman's playing more than Myers. He's ahead of Myers on the depth chart. I know Myers has scored a couple bingos. He's looked a little bit better, but this can't be a guy who has a roster spot locked out. I mean, it's just there's been so much chaotic play, not just this season, but in past seasons as well. So that'll be an interesting debate when the time comes. Hopefully we get to that, right? Hopefully there's another top 4 defenseman or a shot defenseman that the Canucks can add to the mix. Now, I will say, all this talk about top 4, bottom 6 might not matter tonight against the San Jose Sharks. Maybe we should talk it. We'll end the show talking about the Canucks and Sharks. A little preview here, and we'll get to comment quarter as well. Before I do that, I got to let you know that, when you're drafting your fantasy team, do you ever wish you could do the same thing with your business team? If you're building a roster to win the league, you need Indeed. Indeed is the hiring platform where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place. Find top talent fast with Indeed's suite of powerful hiring tools like Indeed Instant Match, assessments, and virtual interviews. I mentioned Instant Match, okay? And, it's a great thing that Indeed has. It makes me a little sad to mention it because it makes me think of how my wife calls me the Flash. But anyways, me being the Flash, not so good. Indeed with Instant Match, that's a very good thing, okay? Candidates that you invite to apply through Instant Match are 3 times more likely to apply to your job than candidates who only see it in search. Indeed, they do the hard work for you so you can sit back, relax, and scratch your sack. If you sponsor a job and boom, Instant Match shows you candidates whose resumes on Indeed fit your job description immediately after you post. With Instant Match, you can start hiring fast like the Flash, baby. Indeed knows when you're growing your business, you have to make every dollar count. That's why with Indeed, you only pay for quality applications that match your must-have job requirements. So go visit Indeed.com/lockedon to start hiring now. Just go to Indeed.com/lockedon. Indeed.com/lockedon. Terms and conditions apply. Cost per application price not available for everyone. Need to hire? You need Indeed. And before we wrap up the show, I got to let you know it's time to score early this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 money line bet. That's $150 if your team wins. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. Now, the NFL slate kicks off tonight. I will say I went 14-2 on my money line picks last week. Not a big deal. We won't be doing any NFL podcasts anytime soon, but I'll tell you for tonight, I do like the Tennessee Titans and Will Levis over the Pittsburgh Steelers, even though the Tennessee Titans are road dogs in that game. I'm not a big Kenny Pickett fan. Micah Fitzpatrick isn't playing, and I think the Steelers overall are overrated. So if you agree with me or if you disagree with me, make sure you go place a bet on FanDuel. Their app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, overs, unders, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
People, before we get back to the show, baby, I gotta tell you that new episodes of Locked On Canucks will be available wherever you stream podcasts and on YouTube at 4:20 p.m. for no reason at all, okay? New episodes every day at 4:20 p.m. Again, wherever you stream podcasts and on YouTube. Let's get back to the show. Okay, you're back on another episode of Locked On Canucks. My name's Kyle Bowen. That's Trevor Beggs. This is the show where we give you your Canucks every day. Hit the like button and subscribe button if you did enjoy today's episode. And if you didn't, don't do it. Never lie to yourself, okay? It's okay. I know we're all Canucks, and maybe you just want to be a nice person, but don't like the video. If you didn't like the video, stop lying to yourself and save the world one less lie at a time. And also save the world by asking your friends this very, very crucial question. Beggsy, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, man. I will say that November, usually my least favorite month of the year, but the Canucks are getting me through it, man. Are you kidding me? And I just went 14-2 on my moneyline NFL picks last week. Come on, man. Let's go.
14-2. Does that mean you won money? Like, even if you got 2 wrong? I'm not a bettor.
Yeah. So I'll say this, and
shout out FanDuel. Shout out FanDuel. Shout out FanDuel.
Shout out FanDuel. Exactly. I'm also in a pick'em at my local pub. And I won the week, so I walked up with a few hundred bucks after winning the week at my local pub there. So
damn. Okay. She's getting roses again. She's getting roses again, baby. Papa's bringing home the bacon and the roses and the tulips. I like it, man. I like it, man. There you go, man.
And
Christmas came early for your family. You're gonna put that money away, okay? Make sure you get your son a good gift, okay? Yeah, some people don't believe that, like, 5-month-olds or 6-month-olds can remember things. I doubt that, man. Why do we just doubt babies, man? They got superpowers, you know? How fast they grow? How are they doing that? Because they got superpowers. So he's going to remember, so you better get him something nice, okay? For real. Anyways, let's get to my favorite part of the show. And Trevor's, he's warming up to this part of the show. Comment Corner on Locked On Canucks.
Welcome to Comment Corner, powered by Paraphrasing.
This comment comes from Keys.
Guys, we're not being cocky. We're being smart fans. The Canucks are who we thought they were gonna be, and that's a damn good hockey team. Now let me eat some warm cereal in peace.
Okay. This comment. It's a little something, okay? Again, the Canucks and their fans maybe being a little cocky, okay? Maybe being a little arrogant. Maybe thinking we're already there when we kind of just started. This all being said, this person, GS Keys, he thinks we're exactly where we thought we were going to be. Well, I guess he's talking to himself. Looking back at it, how much of a surprise has this actually been for the Vancouver Canucks? Again, 6-2-1, doing things the right way. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate, again, the shock factor that you're feeling with this team?
Yeah, it's honestly pretty close to, maybe not a 10, but I'd say a solid 7.
It's a 10. It's a 10.
Well, think about it, right? There's just a lot of mental scar tissue in this market. It's been 3 years of starting slow, and we kind of saw with Boudreau coming in, right? It's like this team played great under Boudreau, and then they coming out of the gates, they suck, right? And it's like, okay, Tocchet comes in, they're good under Tocchet to end the season in garbage time. Is it all going to be the same, right? And, you know, again, the Canucks, we kind of talked about it, like the Pacific Division looked better than it actually is going into the season. Now that might turn around. I don't think Edmonton in particular is going to be as bad as they've been so far. But yeah, there's a lot of surprise. I mean, taking both wins against Edmonton to start the season was incredibly surprising. Really, their only poorest game so far has been against the Philadelphia Flyers. They've been in every game, whether that's them outplaying the other team or, you know, getting help from their stars.
Yeah, man, I think you just said the whole thing about getting help from their stars. I think I'm 10 out of 10 surprised because even though we have gotten help, and look at the stats, we've gotten a lot of the help from our best guys. It's the fact that this team has bought into a system and they're warming up to it. And I know we kind of saw them take their foot off the pedal against Nashville a couple days ago, but look what Brunette said. He like when he was alluding to the fact that they haven't played a team that's been this bought in, especially from their top end players. He's talking about the system. Like the Canucks are playing a team game right now. Well, trying to 5-on-5 and looking back at how they did in the preseason. And remember how scarred I was in the preseason? I got to say that I'm 10 out of 10 surprised that the Vancouver Canucks have found a way to win games throughout their first 9 games and do so the way they're doing. And that's playing like a team and battling and showing effort. There was a time not too long ago where I was questioning their fitness levels and if they were listening to Tocchet, because Tocchet was saying some similar things. And at the end of the day, going back to Tocchet, he's just leading the troops, man. He's that guy. You know, we said JT Miller again should talk to Pat McAfee. I'm going to say it again. Rick Tocchet and Pat McAfee would be an incredible interview. It would be absolutely incredible. And I did say something on yesterday's episode, and I want to get to it maybe tomorrow or the day after, maybe next week. I called the Canucks soft. I said that because I felt as if a lot of people didn't like what JT Miller did against Nashville, and I kind of like the bite. I kind of like seeing one guy on this team play with a little bit of edge. And I take back the soft statement because it's been pretty obvious that the Canucks have actually played harder this season, but they could be a little edgier because if we want success to happen, and I'm getting way ahead of myself. I'm getting cocky. I'm thinking about the playoffs. If we want to have success in the playoffs, so we got to have some edge. Yo, one game at a time, okay? Focus on San Jose. Anyways, that was another episode of Locked On Canucks. Beggsy's got to go. I got to go. One love to everyone listening to this, and yeah, take care of your people, man. One love to the world. Sending peace to the world, and Beggsy, sign us out.
Hey, let's go. You know, quickly on that Sharks game tonight, the Canucks have won 9 in a row against the Sharks.
Whoa.
But, you know, we saw against Nashville. I know, right? It's almost hard to believe, but, you know, the Sharks have not been a good team for a little bit, and they are in the Canucks division. So the Canucks are going to make it 10 in a row against the Sharks. Again, they played maybe 70% to their potential against Nashville. Let's not have a game like that against the Sharks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just give it to the Sharks. No one wants to be the team to lose that first game to the San Jose Sharks. The last time these two teams played, the Canucks won 7-2. I was at that game. Tyler Myers played a pretty good game. Let's see another performance like that. But we'll talk about the Sharks Canucks on tomorrow's episode of Locked On Canucks, and we'll talk about everything else Canucks related, because it's your team every day. But for now, I'm Trevor Beggs, that guy's Kyle Ballard, and you've been listening to Locked On Canucks.